Alright, now that we got a little bit of experience changing the settings within Print Preview, there's another view I want to discuss, which is called the Page Layout view. And to activate the Page Layout view, we have two different options. First, we need to go back to our spreadsheet, and then we can select the View tab and select Page Layout. Or you can come down here to your status bar and select the Page Layout view. So if I want to go back to the normal view, I can just click the normal view. And if I want to go back to Page Layout, I can select Page Layout. So the Page Layout view is very helpful to enable the users to get a good overall feel of what the page is going to look like when it's printed. You still have all the functions you would have in the normal view, but with the addition of a few extra tools such as rulers, header and footer fields, and being able to change the margins directly on the worksheet. Now I do want to mention, although the Page Layout view is great for formatting, it's not always so helpful when you're working directly with your data. I personally like working in the normal view when I'm actually doing work inside my spreadsheet. But the Page Layout view is great for seeing what your sheet is going to look like when it's printed out. I'm going to zoom out so we can get a better look of what the Page Layout view consists of. And each one of these blocks is what's going to be printed on that page. Now this might look like you have multiple sheets, but it's actually just the report sheet. This is just showing how each page is going to get printed. For example, if I zoom back in, currently our worksheet orientation is on landscape, because that's what we changed back in our previous video when we were dealing with the Print Preview settings. So let's say I want to change it back to portrait. We can do it inside of our spreadsheet. We can come up to the Page Layout tab, select Orientation, and then click on Portrait. So if we click File Print as of right now, it will show our report and this chart on the first sheet of paper, and then this graph on the second sheet of paper, but it's going to be a little bit cut off. First I need to right click this chart, go to Format Chart Area, and change the property back to Print Object so it gets printed out. So if you go to File, Print, the reason why it's only showing our chart is because we have our chart selected. So I'm going to go back to the spreadsheet, select anywhere but the chart, go back to File, Print, and it's condensing everything because one of the settings in our previous video was to fit the sheet onto one page. So if I change the scaling back to no scaling, and currently if we look at this preview, it looks like our chart is getting cut off, and on page 2 we see some of our chart and then our pie chart. So if we go back to the Page Layout view, we can kind of move things around to fix this. So I'm going to scroll down, select our chart, and we can move and resize it a little bit to make it fit within the page. And for our pie chart, let's say we don't want it in the top left corner of this page. Well, we can increase the size without going over the border of the page, and we can also center it on this page. So now if we go back to our Print Preview, everything should be fitting within each page. So if I go to File, Print, our chart's still selected, deselect our chart, go back to Print Preview. Now our first page, nothing is cut off and everything is centered. And if I go to the second page, we have our pie chart. So working in the Page Layout view is very easy to move things around within your spreadsheet so you can see how they're going to be printed out without coming back to File, Print to look at the Print Preview and then make your adjustments. We can make our adjustments right there in our spreadsheet. Another feature that the Page Layout view has is adding headers and footers. So if we go back to our spreadsheet, I'm going to zoom in here. We can select the top of the page to add a header, and we can add a header on the left, middle, or right. For example, let's say we want to have a title at the top of every page. We can select the middle section and start typing. let's say that we just want to title it monthly expenses. Now if I deselect out of the header, we have a title on every sheet that gets printed out. Another neat feature with Excel headers and footers is that if we come up to the header and footer tab, Excel provides us a few predefined elements that we can add, such as the sheet name, file path, the date, the time, page numbers, and so on. So just for example, let's say we want to have the sheet name placed in our header. We can click on the command sheet name, and it puts a little formula in here that says & tab, which will get the sheet name of the sheet that we're on. So if I deselect it, it says report. Same thing goes for the footer. We can add elements to the footer, such as the page number, and it will put a page number at the bottom of each page. So this is page 1 and this is page 2. So if I come back up to File, Print, we'll see that we have our title, our sheet name in our header, and our page numbers in our footer. So working in the page layout view is great when you're formatting your spreadsheet, because you can move things around and see exactly how it's going to be printed out without having to come to File, Print, and looking at the print preview. Instead, we can make our changes directly on our spreadsheet.